lot of people talk about you, Travis. You know, how extreme can the vocals get? People say, me included, Travis was doing this like 20 years ago. You were a myth.
We've been the tortoise, you know, the whole time, and the hairs just keep running by and falling off, and we're just like. I saw no point in doing what everybody else was doing.
Use EMG pickups because they help you get the heaviest tone possible. Head over to emgpickups.com and use my promo code HEAVY at checkout and get 15% off. And then once you write the heaviest song of all time, head over to distrokid.com/VIP/Garza and save 30% off your membership to get all your songs on all streaming platforms. And now to the heaviest podcast of all time. Some people are proud where they're from. I'm proud to be from there because, you know, I mean, you probably played Showcase a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, man.
I miss that place, man.
It sucks. Yeah, it sucks it's gone. It was like an incredible venue.
Yeah.
And now that I've seen quite a few, it's like, damn, I was spoiled.
Yeah.
All these sick bands just down the street.
And it's just weird that there was never anything that came along to take its place. That's what I never understood.
No.
Because that was a sick spot forever. Everybody knew to go down there.
Yeah.
Or go up there from San Diego. You know?
Yeah.
Like it was that middle point between, say, like San Diego or North County, where I'm from, and L.A., you know. But you don't have to go all the way up the 5 and get stuck in traffic and all this crap. You can kind of go up the 15, and there's a little bit of stuff in the Inland Empire or whatever, which is massive. It's just weird. There's not more stuff going on like in that area as far as like music goes, because I felt like Showcase proved that they want it. I've been to goth clubs and shit up there, you know.
Of course you have.
You know, I've been to stuff like that up there back in the day, but you know.
It's so weird. I heard like when they closed that place down, I heard like the city was like celebrating as far as like City Hall behind the scenes stuff. They were trying to close that place down for quite a while. So
sounds a lot like where I grew up, Escondido and North County, you know, San Marcos and Vista. It's all still very conservative, but really they just don't. I mean, they've proved they don't want it. They don't want to deal with the potential of stabbings or fights and the liability and all this stuff. They just don't.
Yeah.
They don't want it. I tried in the 90s to do, you know, venues around town and stuff and promote bands and bring in shows and stuff. And I mean, there was one time, this is Escondido, dude, like 96, we were doing this venue called The Library. And straight up, somebody from the city, I really don't know. We can't blame we don't know who to blame. But we got shut down by them somebody made up like these like white supremacist like pamphlet type things, you know?
No.
Yeah, it was just like a sheet of paper with all this bullshit, you know, about, you know, white supremacy and stuff. And then they flyered just the parking lot behind the venue to where it was just like, this is very obvious. And then they blamed us for it. I was like, this is impossible. Nobody here is like that. This is, in fact, I've never even seen it. I still haven't seen that kind of shit with my own eyes. You would hear about it. You'd hear about skinheads and all this crap, but I just never personally ever saw it. So it was shocking to us to be met with that, and I still never figured out who it was. But that, to me, I can't help but think
might have been from the city,
or somebody just it just proved that they don't want it there. They don't want it there. So San Diego's always had, and that's North County. That's a county thing. San Diego proper's always had this weird relationship with 21 and up and all ages. You know, Soma had the monopoly. You know, they had the stranglehold, it seemed like, on it for years. Just
yeah. What is it? I mean, you know, like the history with San Diego and the metal scene. Like, if you're an outsider listening, kind of want to set like the stage, like for like a quick second. Like San Diego is, when you are in San Diego, it is like the most chill spot
totally
ever. It's California, and for some reason it stays separated from here, LA. I don't know how.
And somehow it created almost, not single-handedly, because suffocation really started it, but the brutal death metal scene that we know of it as, you know, Disgorge and Cephalotripsy and bands like that. There's it more deprecated. There's older ones, you know, and I was fortunate to be able to sit and watch all that stuff play out in real time. And
you literally saw it play out in real time.
Yeah.
You and Diego go to high school together.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah, that was funny because it was like I felt really kind of alone in the as far as being a metalhead or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know too many people around. I went to Orange Glen High School in Escondido, and I didn't I was just one of the. There was no like they had the goth tree, the cholo tree, the
goth tree,
the jocks, and
it's a real thing, man.
Diego, I made friends with him. He was this very brightly colored, as far as his clothing, this really
skater.
bright skater. He wore these like bell bottom looking things,
Bell bottoms?
They weren't bell bottom. I guess they were maybe Jinkos. I before Jinkos were a thing. I really don't know. They
just got sold out here too.
Dude, they were yellow and orange. And no, what I'm saying was Diego Sanchez was the most popular guy at school. He is. I'm pretty sure I have a yearbook that I know he was prettiest eyes.
Yes, he has beautiful
prettiest eyes.
He has beautiful eyes.
It's his lashes. Anyways, prettiest eyes, and I think he was like voted like most popular or some shit. So then I'm talking to him one day, and he's like, "Yeah, man, you like Incantation, Suffocation, blah blah blah, all these bands." And I was just like, "You're into that shit?" Because I must have been wearing a Cannibal Corpse shirt or so, I don't know, something. It was probably 92, 93 or whatever it was. And I was just like, "Dude, you're into that stuff?" So we bonded over that, and then I was in a band called Stigmata, and he came over and joined, and we changed it to Strangulation. Mm-hmm. Did that for a couple years, and then I was the typical hyperactive drummer, like just a kind of a pain in the ass. And they finally, they let me go. And him and Ben Marlin, they became like best buddies. And then they couldn't find a suitable real replacement around. Drummers are hard to find. Not that I was
back then,
great,
yes,
really.
yeah.
I was more into the Sean Reiner type stuff. They wanted Mike Smith. They wanted, and I was doing all this jazzy cymbal work and shit.
Jazzy cymbals, yeah. Nice.
So that didn't work out. But and then they couldn't really find anybody, and they ended up going over and joining Disgorge and doing Sheila Gutted, and the rest is pretty much brutal death history, really, I guess.
It's so bizarre that it comes from San Diego. Because literally bands around the world, Travis, look to this.
San Diego.
They talk about West Coast death metal, and we're talking bands from Germany. We're like, what? How did the fuck did that happen, dude?
I don't know.
And you saw it play out in like real time.
Yeah. And I'm unironically wearing the sort of today I noticed the quintessential brutal death metal uniform.
That is the uniform. Camo shorts, banana pouch.
The banana pouch. You want to talk about this for a second?
Okay, let's do it.
I don't.
Okay, okay.
I'm gonna be this. What do you think's in here?
Gun in my head. Quarters and pennies.
No, but it's roughly the same size. God, I shouldn't be doing this. This is good. People are gonna think this is gross. What do you think that is?
What the fuck is that?
This is called a culo clean.
What are we talking about right now? What is that?
You take a bottle of water and you put this on top, put this in there.
Yeah.
It's a portable bidet. Do you have a...
Why do you have a portable... Why do you always carry it with you?
You've toured?
Yeah.
You just live with the chafing in your butthole?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, dude. No way. I can't do it. You would think it would get all poopy and gross and stuff, but it doesn't. Look,
okay.
He's sitting there looking at me like, dude, this is disgusting.
This
Look
is
up
fucking...
Culo Clean, $8.99 on Amazon. And you wash it every time just in case, just to be safe.
Okay.
And it worked out
it's
great.
It's a thing.
Culo Clean. $8.99. You get two for $15.
What's even more bizarre, Travis, is that you actually look for this. You actually look for this thing.
Dude, a week before I leave.
What happened to you?
I had been thinking to myself, 48 years old, trying to keep up doing this bullshit.
You don't got to clean your butt to keep up with the fucking metal scene, man.
You do. When you're walking around going, oh, fuck. Dude, you go to Japan once. I went to Japan, played the tour, and came back. I think we were home for like 3 hours,
Yeah.
I was already at Home Depot buying a bidet. So I got used to having bidets. And now I just, the natural calluses that come from
Now there's calluses.
scraping your butthole with paper.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This is like obviously the best way to do it.
Actually, to your credit, I have heard that bidets they feel amazing.
Well, yeah.
That's what I've heard. I have never ever tried it.
Yeah. This country prides itself on being this, first world paradise or some shit, but we're all walking around with
Dirty assholes.
poopy buttholes, man.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
But not you though.
No. I rock the Culo Clean. I have what do you call them, bidets at home. So
And you have backups.
both toilets too. And now I have this
You're like, okay, what am I going to put this thing in? Oh, a banana
pouch. Come on, it's obvious.
Busy though, because I mean, how long have you been vegetarian?
Oh, shit, almost 30 years.
30 years.
Almost.
What was that moment? Like because most from what I understand, I hear is like they have like a moment where they see something or they.
Well, it took a
see,
while
hear
for me to
something,
actually stop the foods that I had that I was cool with eating, that had meat in them. Working at Arby's, dude, as a teen.
So you're
it's like
working
my first job ever was at Arby's.
So you're 17, 18 working at Arby's.
I think I was like 16.
Okay.
Dude, it's disgusting. There's this.
What was going on back there?
The thing that I hated the most was this. You've got this gigantic mound of meat, of the ground beef or whatever, and it comes with this. This is back. They may have changed. I don't know. Some guy may be out there going, "I work at Arby's and this is bullshit." Okay. Well,
Perfect.
in 90, whatever it was, 90 or however old I was, probably, yeah, 91, I think, because I was born in late 74. What was I saying? This mound would come with this disgusting. They called it I was like, "What is this?" And they were like, "It's a protein gel." I'm like,
Oh no.
about that thick, like an inch thick, that you had to pack into the meat, and it took like 10 minutes each rump or roast or whatever the hell the thing is. It's just a big. It's what they make. Shit, I don't eat the shit, so I don't know. It looked like just a mound of filler and crap,
Oh no.
and then I have to pack that into the meat to where it would go in the folds of all the meat and stuff, and you weren't done until all that gel was gone and packed into the meat. And just doing that repeatedly, it'll turn you off, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, just nasty. So
It's like I'm never going to eat meat again.
yeah. And then the people that I worked with, like my boss was, I would watch him drop patties on his way to put a bun on it or whatever the hell, and it would fall on the ground. He'd look, make sure nobody saw, put it back on. I was just like, dude, no. So
I hate that.
You run that risk with every
Sure.
friggin' whatever, every place you go, I guess.
Well, I mean, it kind of like your job kind of helped you, maybe join the band that you're in now in like a weird way, because you end up joining which you guys kind of get like the unfair tag up like the vegan, and people are just like.
Well, I understand. It's the extremity of it all,
Sure,
or at least the nature of the thing.
I didn't know until I started doing research, and it's like it's so silly what your brain does. You just put tags on people.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I ran into like a hardcore singer, and I thought he was straight edge. I told
I see what
him.
you mean.
I told him, I thought you were straight edge. He's like, dude, what?
Yeah.
It's like I drink. I'm like, a lot. I'm like, okay, but I did my research, and I was like, okay, you and Josh are vegetarian, and I think so Cattle started in '96, which with the prominent vegan members, correct? So you kind of got stuck with that tag.
Dave, Astor, and Gabe Serbian were just vegetarian, from what I could tell.
Okay. Maybe that's his wiki.
And then there's
Probably.
periods where I was vegan or Gabe was vegan, whatever.
Yeah.
But
that's just tough, dude. Fuck that.
what being
Vegan?
vegan? What broke me was, I'm a picky eater by nature, anyways. So going to Europe and then realize, for me, it was harder for me years ago to go and make it happen over there.
Yeah, there's stories of Derek Green he's vegan, and he would like back in the 90s, like he was like carrying around a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you know what, dude? Credit to you, man. I couldn't do it.
Well, one time we showed up at this German club, and they're like, the guy puts down just a block of tofu, a jar of peas, and a jar of carrots. And he goes, vegan, and walked
Vegan.
away. I was like, basically, he was saying, this is your meal for the night. And we were just like,
you're stoked.
and everybody's looking at me like, fuck you. I'm like, sorry, dude. You know. We maintained an all-vegetarian band until like past 2006. Dave McGraw came in and, you know,
Made
visibly
everything.
not vegetarian. Well, he's a big, you know,
Yeah, of course.
brutal dude.
Dave McGraw, dude. I mean, how did you find him or meet him? Because he took your band to like a whole new level.
He was playing a band, and we just kind of, you know, I kind of saw the writing on the wall with that, and we stalked him like cats.
Stalk him.
Josh and I, yes.
You got to stalk your drummers. There you go.
Yeah. No, but we just knew that, you know, like we could do some stuff with this guy, and it worked out. Everything worked out. The plan worked perfectly.
Well, so his first record was Harvest Floor.
Yeah.
And there's a noticeable difference. I mean, just the first track, you hear that blast.
Yeah.
Like, what did you think?
Because he was like one of the best at doing the gravity blast things.
When he goes into gravity, dude, I was watching him.
Nuts.
And okay, so Dave's already he's already blasting, right? He's doing the blast beat. It's already fast, and then it goes into twice as fast. Oh, you're just looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? What are you doing? But that's I guess the term is called gravity. But
Yeah.
just the way he does it is like you're already blasting, and then you like it's already extreme, and then you do it even twice as fast.
Well, the way
Like, dude, that's insane.
the attack on his snare
That too.
is unmatched. I haven't seen anybody else do it as gnarly, and like those gravity parts at least.
Yeah.
You hear like you can almost hear every single hit. Where some guys, I think, you know, kind of they rely on the ghost notes or whatever, you know, to try to give off
Yeah.
the appearance that
Sure.
they're doing it super sick.
Yeah.
But his, it's almost like you can hear them all like. Grrr. It's same with his kicks. It's just ridiculous, dude.
What was it like jamming with him for like the first time?
I mean,
we were like, because I remember when we
trying
got
to think if I was even there. I don't jam with the guys. I don't
Sure.
practice. I
Sure.
don't go do much with them. Maybe once or twice before we leave or go into the studio, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But just like, all right, cool. Like we made the right decision, but also like this is, you know, we're going to be able to do stuff we've been wanting to do for years, I guess, you know.
yeah,
And we gave him some creative liberty or whatever as far as songwriting and shit, something that he didn't have before. So
interesting.
that was a something positive, I guess, for him or whatever.
Because what's really special about you, Travis, and your band is this might be like a hot take, but it's really extremely difficult to find like a consistent band, like let's say like the death metal scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like they kind of have like a golden era, like a record or two. They're like, that's like oh my god, but like I mean, you can only name a few. Like obviously Cannibal is in there, but what's even crazier about you, Travis, is like you guys have had this like not only consistency, but it's gotten better. Out of like, we're talking, you guys are at 8 records, but if you want to count, you know,
the first 10,
Human
yeah.
Tricky, and you know, I mean that's 10. Like, first of all, how do you like stay consistent but also evolve? Like, how'd you do that?
Dude. Well, it's hard to answer that because I want to say I know what people want, and that we go and we make it happen. I don't know what the hell these people want anymore. I don't know what people want anymore, man. Like, my favorite stuff of ours was Death Atlas. Not to knock the new record. I was kind of mentally in a different place a lot of this record. I think everybody kind of was shaken up by COVID and then, you know, certain other events and stuff. So when you put out a new record, though, you will see people either they go, "Oh, I love the last one more," or whatever. And I've seen people like kind of pan Death Atlas in a way that that kind of was surprising to me because they're talking about the stuff that I like the most. That it's like long-winded or the weirdest one to me was that the melodic stuff, the vocals were predictably placed and stuff. I'm just like, man, it's called songwriting. Sorry, I know that this isn't usually the kind of music that, or when you're playing at these kind of speeds and that kind of stuff, like songwriting and melody and shit usually doesn't have a place. Mm-hmm. We've created a place for it in this band, I guess.
But how'd you do that? I mean, you said
boredom.
You said the word.
Timing.
Word. Timing.
I think it was just
boredom?
timing and boredom, dude. Because well, I call it this.
Okay.
This is weird. I call it the Doom EP effect.
Okay.
It's not that Job for a Cowboy's Doom EP was this magnificent piece of work. I feel inarguably, but maybe arguably, the stuff after it was just objectively better. It was just more. They put a lot more time and effort into it and stuff, and they were making actual stuff that sounded like kind of sick technical death metal.
Interesting.
So that's my favorite kind of stuff is the tech kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that album popped. That EP popped in a way that like really resonated with a group of people, a large, massive group of people.
Yes.
At a certain time in their lives, a certain time in this culture, that we have here, this death metal and extreme metal stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not that it was this amazing, unwaverable piece of art. I think it just hit people at the right time, and that's what I'm talking about with Monolith of Inhumanity, our record after Harvest Floor.
Yeah.
That one gave us a whole second career. We already had a whole career behind us, I felt. I went into that record thinking, well, throw the script away. Let's just do something new, and if people hate it, then we had a great career. I've already done at that point what I kind of wanted to do with music, tour the world and all that stuff. And then it was very liberating on a creative level to be able to just go, you know what, who cares what people end up thinking about this? The other guys might have had a whole different mindset.
Sure.
But this is coming from me. I can't speak for them. They may be like, what the hell is he talking about? But this is how I felt about it and what I witnessed. So, I mean, I think everything we've done since that record has been better and better and better every single record. Maybe even Terrasite too.
Crazy.
But I'm still just wrapped up in Death Atlas. I just feel that album got hosed a little by the pandemic.
Little bit. You got a good year in, but records like that only come in your career maybe once, twice, and then the fact that it got a little bit of hosed, but also records like that last a long time. I'm surprised you guys kind of getting back.
Well, that stupid "Bring Back the Plank" song really helped, keep people paying attention, I guess, through the 2 years where, let's face it, man, whole new subgenres and shit have been created, and bands have popped off out of middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
During those 2 years off, I thought that was actually going to kill bands. It created bands. Now there's
interesting.
That's how I honestly thought this was going to probably shed some of the fat, trim some of the fat, because it was just, there's so many damn bands doing so much of the same shit, and now everything's been flipped around, and there's all sorts of people totally, completely changing the game just within that 2 years of being off, and people not out there working or something maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, especially especially in our genre, it's more like the vocals game, and a lot of people talk about you, Travis, and how because it's very this how extreme can the vocals get, and a lot of people say, me included, it's Travis was doing this 20 years ago, and it's because when I was a kid, Travis, I would see you here or down the street, you were a myth, and it's crazy. Honestly, it's crazy because having someone tell you that, but literally, we would go to Chain Reaction, and everyone's just waiting, because I haven't seen you guys before, and they're like, dude, wait till you hear the singer. He's crazy, and and I remember you walked out with 2 mics taped, and shit, you were already on your own thing. It seems like you're always doing your own thing, as opposed to maybe bands right now. What they have is that they already kind of have this road paved. and you didn't have a road paved. You kind of just seems to me, looking at what you were doing, it just seems like you were just doing what you wanted to do. Like people would talk about you as a myth, and you're still doing even crazier vocals now. And then there's this whole wave of bands that are doing that.
Yeah.
But I just remember what you have been doing like the past 20 years.
I appreciate that.
It's crazy.
I mean, I've been touring cyclically for since 2002.
It's a good word.
And that's well, Cannibal Corpse was like the way they approached business or whatever. I hate to dither it down to being a business or something because that's not how I'm trying to say this, but they kind of set that was our model for how to do this. As far as all right, you write a record and record it and release it, tour for 2.5 years, whatever, repeat. And we all did that. You guys did the same thing. Everybody was doing that for a long time. Some fell off, said screw this, and some kept going. We never stopped. That's the thing. Like we never stopped. A lot of bands, we have been around and watched whole subgenres come and go and come back again and dominate. And it's weird. I often think, man, should we have like taken off for a few years or something like that? Just like we've kind of always just. We've been the tortoise, the whole time, and the hares just keep running by and falling off and doing that, and we're just like, doing our own thing. I just always wanted to do my own thing. I didn't want to do. I saw no point in doing what everybody else was doing. Although I was heavily influenced by people. That sound you're talking about, the tongue oriented, mouth sounds or whatever.
Yeah.
Was all that was inspired by the sound of two vocals at once. So Deicide layering vocals and Glenn Benton layering vocals in the studio, or the sound of, more specifically, the sound of Jeff Walker and Bill Steer. That combination, I get chills. Just even thinking about it still, like
crazy.
Still to this day. That was the combo. That was the thing that made me go, and do all that shit. And then you can't, I'm one person, and I'm not going to use backing tracks, but this is back before anybody started using backing tracks even. I was just like, well, I got to come up with a way to try to mimic those sounds of two vocals at once. And then I started getting shit in the later 2000s.
Why?
Of just people being like, well, why do you sound so much different live? I'm like, well, that's because I haven't been able to capture we'll call them pterodactyl highs. And people got all those sorts of stupid names for them, but the pterodactyl highs, that's what everyone called them back then.
Yeah.
And I was just, because I'm doing, when I'm in the studio, I'm in an air-conditioned room. I'm able to sit there and, especially with these melodic vocals. Yeah, it's going to sound different live, dude, because I'm doing all 6 vocal styles or whatever within a 40-whatever-minute show, hour plus whatever show.
Man.
It's going to sound different.
Especially now.
Because when I'm laying it down, what you hear in the studio is I'm in an air-conditioned room. I have tea and water and whatever at my disposal. I don't have to worry about running around. I'm just standing there being able to lay it down. So it's a different thing. We were never able to, I was just never able to, until Dave Otero came along, I was never able to really effectively capture that sound, those vocals, without it sounding weird. It always sounded like paper was being ripped or something. I could never get around that. So we tried all these weird combinations. I think when we first entered with Monolith of Inhumanity, it was just like, I need the live, like, let's try to recreate the live scenario as much as possible. I actually had a monitor, like a vocal monitor, for a while. I think we ended up getting rid of it, but it was just like, I don't know what else to do. Just trying to get these things laid down. It wasn't even until we didn't really really correctly lay them down until probably 2012. But I had been doing it since 99, actually, because I started doing that live when we would do shows up the coast or whatever, or just local shows or whatever. All the parts where it would be, low and high layering on the record or whatever, I would just default into a, kind of thing, sort of.
Wow.
And then I started realizing you can get these 2 separate tones using your tongue in a certain way. I always called it air displacement, which, whatever, I don't know. even what that means. You're creating like a pocket of air, or in such a way that kind of creates this like sympathetic tone. So you're hearing and then with amplification, you hear what sounds like two vocals at once or whatever. And now Melissa Cross has, there's tutorials and shit out there and whatever, I'm sure, on how to do all this crap.
Yeah, but you didn't have YouTube.
No.
You just had to figure it out.
It all has a history. Yeah, it has a history.
You had to have literally 2 fucking careers. And see, and
get bored with the first half, because that's what it was. That's why I started doing melodic vocals. I was like, hey, I want to try to, like, I was already doing it live for years when I would go into certain high vocals, and I would hear like the natural reverb of the room. Certain rooms would just sound a certain way, and I would hear this like there would be like this tonality in the slapback. Like it would be like I could actually hear notes. And that got me thinking, oh shit, what if I was able to pitch this stuff, do the actual like pitched high vocals and stuff. And then I started doing pitched low vocals. Like, where do let's really do this. And you can do whatever with layering. I've always been a fan of the layering thing,
Yeah.
Albums are historical documents, It's gonna outlive all of us. And
they are.
Why not make it the best you can, That's kind of how I look at it, as far as like, just laying down the stuff and the actual process and making everything as perfect as you can. Yeah. Because there's also something to be said about like, nope, we go in there and we lay it down and all the imperfections and stuff. There's obviously something to be said about that too, But we're a weird. It's a mixed thing because Josh and I come from an older school. Dave McGraw brings in more of a modern element, and we wanted that. I wanted that juxtaposition.
What was the first song that you actually lay down that had that? I don't even want to call it. I've been thinking about this the past 2 days, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna see what happens in the moment. I still can't put a word. The way those vocals sound, they're like melodic.
The Gollum one, people call it Gollum or something.
Yeah, they're not clean. They're not.
I don't get that.
I was like, there's this primal and menacing.
Oh, good
sound to it. I can't. I don't know. I can't put a word to it. I can't. But when you first did that, what do you and the guys think?
I actually have a good. I mean, not a good story. It's not nothing, spectacular or nothing. But I remember specifically, it was the song "A Living, Breathing Piece of Defecating Meat" on the Monolith of Inhumanity. And the way we do demos is they record with like shit. I think at that point we were using just a little Zoom MP3 recorder, and they'd put it in the middle of the room or whatever. And then they'd give it to me, and I would put it into my take the stick and put it on my laptop and download it. And then I just finally got GarageBand and started. So I just sit there. Here's our demos. I take my MacBook. I'm sitting there. I go into the onboard mic or whatever, and that's how I come up with the melodies. And then later on, I just make them sound. I just make them sound obviously better than that. But I just sit there and just hum the melody or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I actually cut a full-on demo of me, really leaning into it and doing the vocals for that part. And I said, all right, Dave, I want you to have an open mind. Like, it's not going to sound anything remotely like this. This is garbage. What I'm about to show you is absolute trash. It's just you just have to hear the melody. We should be used to writing this stuff and hearing these demos and going and knowing what it's going to sound like. Labels had to learn how to do that over time because they get such shitty demos. You have to be able to hear through the shit to see if there's something
that's true
actually there. So I'm like, please, Dave, it's going to suck, and you're going to go, what the hell? He's like, all right, show me. And then everything I said he'd do, he did. He goes, well, I'm going to have to trust you because that sounds like absolute shit. I'm like, I know. And
really?
It won't. He's like, yeah, that's. And then we laid it in the studio, and he was just like, night and day. I can't believe it. I can't believe that's the same thing you showed me when we were
really
on the crappy demo. But that's because I know that I've been doing this since I was a child. When I would take my parents' karaoke machine and I would put one tape, I'd play. Dude, I would take like Megadeth, like old thrash. Back in the 80s, every thrash band every album had to have a instrumental or something. So I would take Into the Lungs of Hell or whatever, whatever Megadeth, or whatever band, Testament or whoever the hell would do instrumentals, and I would write lyrics to them and perform vocals to them and shit like that and come up with lyrics and stuff. And so I've just always had that in my blood of actually how to, what to do and laying stuff down. And Otero and I have a great relationship. We're practically telepathic at certain points halfway through the recording where we don't have to, he just knows what I'm saying. I just know what he's saying. And we're not even like speaking full sentences. Just like, all right, we'll do that one and we'll start and it'll be like whatever, we'll start at a Decapitation. Okay, all right. So I know that we start at the song, at the word decapitation, blah, blah, and do the next part and all that kind of crap. So for that reason, I love tracking with that guy. It's the best.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously did your past 4 records.
Yeah.
And you just stayed and like just built, and it's built and built.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like if that was your first record, but you had a whole career over at that point.
Well, he gets better. His skill set improves every single record. So that's why
that's crazy.
The new one sounds better than the last one. That sounds better than the one before it, and then
how did before it. Travis, I keep going back to that because it's just so like mind blowing to me because it's so rare. Like how does a band get better? One, not get burnt out and kill each other and fucking quit, and then in a scene that's so rare to even stay consistent and stay in the game, you just had a second wind, and that's insane.
And I don't pay attention too much to what my peers are doing. I don't listen to modern metal. I kind of never have. I stopped in the early 2000s. I was into a lot of the Carcass Clone bands, and all that stuff back then. I thought that was cool. That's what we thought we were just going to be. We thought we were just going to be one of these Carcass Clone type bands. This band has had usually, like you were starting to say earlier, like the older bands. I noticed this with the 80s and the 90s at least, where it was like their first 4 records. After they were good for maybe 4 records, and then after that, it either just became the same, and you're getting the same record every time, or they straight up switched genres, or just got out of the game entirely, or whatever, or just shit. I think Deicide even said they had an album where they wrote it just to get out of their contract or whatever, that kind of shit.
Yeah, it's common.
There's all sorts of variables that lead to these outcomes for these bands' careers or whatever. And that is the elephant in the room, as I've noticed, is like, dude, we've done the opposite. Like, people are like more and more into each record, and
you have a backwards career.
How's this gonna? Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's bizarre, and I think that helps lend itself, or that also helps lend to the idea that we're doing our own thing that's separate from this genre. Like, there's no. We're not doing the same thing, I guess, as everyone. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I wouldn't call it death metal. I can't call it death metal, dude. Yeah. I have not been able to call this death metal since the mid 2000s or something.
Holy shit!
Just because it was just, and I also had a lot of people around town or whatever in San Diego that were just like, screw these guys. They're sick and tired of hearing of our name. We're on every tour, that would come through. We're on every damn national. They're just like, dude, can they just go away, please? And I'd hear a lot of their gripes, and a lot of people being like, this isn't fucking death metal and this and that. And I'm like, you know what? They're right. They're actually right. Like, death metal was a certain time and place, or a certain atmosphere, not even a certain time, because it's timeless. But it seemingly died. I was just reading that article with all the death metal guys, Revolver, I think, just put out, and hearing their side of the story of like what, there was like a section where it was like talking about like, it just seemed like around 94, 95 bands, the scene started to like die. A lot of bands were just starting to imitate others,
Like the
we saw it with you guys. You guys came out with Job and changed the game and created this whole other, basically a whole other separate subgenre or whatever. And next thing you know, everybody's trying to be, Job for Cowboy, Suicide Silence, and all these bands. And that's like an echo chamber of their own stuff.
Yeah.
And I could never get behind that. That was the main problem I had with that stuff. But you can, my argument falls flat because you could attribute it to any genre of music. Reggae,
of course. Yeah.
Reggae sound, every bit of it sounds the same to most people. But, there's a ton of different forms of it. So
that is true, huh?
yeah, absolutely. And so that's not an argument anymore, it's just we grew up different times,
So even in your home area around like the San Diego County, even like they were giving you shit.
This is like after signing to Metal Blade, and I agreed with them. It was just like, yeah, dude, we have this booking agent that was,
Throwing it.
throwing us on every damn tour. We're just a workhorse, just we were on everything. There was a while, it was us and Goat Whore, just always on tour.
Sick.
It was just that band. And there was probably people that were just like, ugh, God.
Again?
Yes, yeah. And
it happens.
I couldn't blame them at the same time. I'm sitting there going, yeah, that's right, bitch. Whatever.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Monolith, that's the first record that you incorporated these, like, I don't know the word. It's still that
melodic.
Sure, whatever.
Vocal.
that style vocal.
People say clean, but it's not.
It's not.
You isolate them and you'll realize, no, it's not.
It's fucking crazy.
It sounds clean because it's melodic and it's backed up against this wall of not noise, but well, to our parents it probably is. But.
Of course. It's like, what the fuck is Travis doing in his room right
Yeah.
now? He's like jacking off.
So that might sound like clean to somebody, but it's not.
I mean, so it sounds like you were just doing your own thing. You really weren't paying attention to what was going on around you. And that's...
Dude, I don't even like when we go on tour and shit, I don't watch the bands before us. I don't want to
Really?
be, I don't want to be influenced. I don't want to be influenced in any way. I want it to be as pure as possible. I don't watch them. I'll go and I'll check them out for like 5 seconds. And it's only going to be if it's a band I really want to see. Like Black Braid. I watched them a ton of times on this tour because I was extremely interested in them.
Yeah.
And I like the music.
Interesting black metal band.
Yeah. And I just thought that was cool. So I would watch a little bit, but I make sure to dip out after. I'm not going to sit there and watch a whole set. I've been waiting to tour with Carcass for how fucking long? Our entire career. We finally did it in November. Finally did it in November, and I didn't watch like one set. Like I wanted to the whole time. I didn't even watch them on a month, and they were after us. I don't know. It's well, for one thing, it's after doing it 100-something times, tours, the luster's worn off. But
yeah,
a lot of it does have to do with mindset. I don't want to be influenced by the people before me. If they're killing it, cool. I don't.
Interesting.
I want to go up there and have it be as pure is a stupid word to use for it, but like just untainted. I don't know how else to put it.
You want it to just be you.
Yeah.
That
too.
I mean, but obviously, that record came out
2012.
2012. Boom. And then, so what were you listening to that wasn't metal? What?
Oh, it was too much. I used to work at a record
had to
store.
Be jamming to something.
Well, but that's the thing, dude. Is like, I find it hard to call myself a metalhead nowadays, or maybe for the last 20-something years, only because metalheads are so much more open-minded than me.
Yeah, that's sick.
And I'm stuck in the 90s or something, I guess, and in the 80s, like when it comes to that kind of stuff. I still go back and listen to that stuff. There's a lot of new like black metal or symphonic, or not symphonic, but like atmospheric type stuff that will come across. That's the kind of shit. If I'm going to listen to it, that's going to be the kind of stuff. It's going to be kind of stuff where like them and their fan base probably hate bands like us.
Yeah, of course.
But like I like that stuff. I don't really listen to much of our our peers or the bands we go on tour with or that are inspired by us or that or whatever. I mean, and it actually freaks me out every time we put out a record or when I go to write songs, when I go to write lyrics, I have to Google everything because I won't know if, I don't want to name any bands, but I won't know if whoever, any given modern metal band has a song called, We Eat Our Young or whatever, Just Another Body or whatever the hell. I wouldn't know. I have to go and Google this shit first because I just don't pay much of attention to that shit. Like, I know like every square inch of the sound of Symphonies of Sickness by Carcass, but I when it comes to like the lyrics and stuff and I know the layout almost by heart just by looking at it, but I don't know what the lyrics are or even the song titles half the time. I don't know. Your mind just gets directed to certain things, and that's how it is. I'm a Ritalin child kid of the 80s. Like that's, I've just always been kind of messed up a little as far as that goes, I guess.
And you have the two like bugaboos. Like you're a drummer, but also a singer.
Yeah.
Your mind's fucked up.
Yeah. Like, that was the thing, which I think is important. I think everybody should play drums first.
Yeah, I mean, it does. Yeah, it kind of teaches you some kind
rhythm. You get that built up that internal, clock or rhythm or whatever. Like, I don't play to a click. They do now. I don't play to a click, and I'll go off once in a while. I'll find myself slipping, but I can find myself right back into the pocket of where I'm supposed to be, just based off the fact that I feel like I played drums for 11 years.
Yeah.
So
11 years, huh?
Yeah, something like so probably 13 till 20-ish. Yeah, 24, 20, 23. Well, around the time I joined Cattle, I kind of gave up.
Yeah. Because you were playing.
Well, I was doing all sorts of other shit too. I was starting to get into electronic music and playing that kind of stuff and playing just other weird crap.
Really?
Well, I couldn't do the wrist, like I was saying, man. I could never get that the blast wrist. See, even when I go to do it, all the work is going on back here because that's not your wrist. I couldn't get that. I think it was a lot of the skateboard injuries is really, I think, what it was. I was a skater, and I gave up skating for drums. And I gave up drums for vocals. But I gave up skating because I kept falling and getting hurt and whatever and screwing up the ends of my long bones. And then I was like, I'd rather play drums.
You do kind of have to make a choice.
Yeah.
When you're young and you want to pursue either like some kind of instrument, there is like a thought process. You're like, okay, I can't. It's over. I did the same thing. Skating you're skating with your friends, your homies. You're fucking 14, but like you want to play drums. It's like can't have a broken wrist or a broken arm and try to do a gravity with Diego Sanchez.
Yeah,
you can't.
Yeah. God, that would have been sick if Gravity Blast were around back then. That would have been nuts, man.
When actually did Gravity Blast come into play?
I'm probably wrong about this, but the first I remember hearing about it would be John Longstreth.
Origin?
Let's
see.
I know.
Andrew's on it right now. We're trying to...
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Tony Williams, That's the thing, though, dude. Yeah, you could go back to what's his name?
No, but that's a blast beat, though.
That's the thing. Yeah, Gravity Blast.
When did the gravity?
I think it was John Longstreth. That's what I feel like.
Well, actually, hey, go up, Andrew. The Hammer Blast became popular in death metal music of the early 1990s. The Freehand Blast, also known as the Gravity Blast, utilizes gravity. I don't think it's out there.
It doesn't really say.
What the? I wonder. I mean, it could be John from Origin.
I feel like he was the first one to put it in a beat or something. Because you can sit there and be like, "Oh, well, Buddy Rich in 1968." Shut up, dude. We're not talking about that. Like,
when people start doing that, I tune out. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're trying. It's called try hard.
Well, like history is what it is.
Yeah, sure.
It's just
we all get it, dude.
The way people reinvent it, or the way people reimagine it, is what's funny to me.
Okay, who reinvented the Gravity Blast? Yeah, you got to be really precise with.
I really do think it was John Longstreth, and then a lot of other people came along and started doing it or whatever.
When did that first record come out?
Origin?
It's self-subtitled.
Honestly, I didn't even pay attention to it and to that technique until Dave McGraw came along, and I was just like, oh,
Yeah, that shit's sick.
Jesus. And then he's doing it
over it.
the way he's doing it. Yeah. And the mother bastard. I remember, I think it was Death Atlas. I was just like, wait a minute, there's no gravities on this record. And he was just like, yep. You son of a bitch.
Got you.
Like, yeah. Just like with our new one of our new songs. I don't know if it was Weed or Young or Scourge of the Offspring, but one of them doesn't have a blast beat in it. And that freaked me out. I again, not paying attention. I just wasn't really paying attention to it. The stuff sounds good to me or it doesn't, you know. I wasn't writing citations for ourselves going,
sure,
you have -5 blast beats. You know? I don't know why I did it in that accent, but
oh my goodness.
But that was weird to me. And I'm just like, all right. I told him, I'm like, you're making up for it on the next record. You got to do some gravity blasts, you bastard.
It sounds like Dave McGraw brought in some needed like energy.
New blood is always good. New fresh blood is always good.
And he's a great guy as well.
Yeah.
So a big, huge help.
But yeah, and Mike Laughlin, the drummer before him, was an extremely creative drummer. And then he, stepped aside. But we had been really, we knew that, Mike was kind of wanting to probably kind of get out of the game, so we started looking at Dave and it was just like, started thinking like, well, who would we get? And I was like, this guy over here is insane, man. Like, I couldn't, he's still one of my favorite drummers.
Where's he from?
He's from Chile, Santiago, Chile.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
He moved to the United States. I probably shouldn't speak for him. I'm going to get this wrong, but it's roughly right.
Yeah.
2001 to 2002-ish, something like that. And didn't really speak much English.
Really?
Yeah, he's an amazing story, this guy, actually.
Holy
amazing
shit.
Story. So by the time I meet him in 2006, like, I was just like, he's telling me all this. I'm like, that's amazing, dude, because you sound like like a Californian or something.
He
like
sounds like from California.
Yeah, or something, at least West Coast or whatever. He's always hovered around Seattle. Okay. He just moved to Chicago, actually.
Chicago?
Yeah. Our band is completely
you guys
all
are
over the place.
all over.
We can't do one-offs. Like, please stop asking us to do one-offs. Josh lives in Berlin. Ollie's a Montreal native, Quebec, in Quebec. And then me and Belle live in San Diego, where San Diego is all hell. But Josh, he moved out to San Diego from Chicago area back in 2001. And, sometime during the pandemic, he started dating this gal in...
that was my first guess.
In Serbia. So he lived in Serbia for a while, actually.
Whoa.
Yeah. Interesting, turns our band took. But we've made it work. None of this hinders our band. Sure, we can't do one-offs and whatever.
That's fine.
Or whatever. Who cares?
Who cares?
We used to do 1 million of those. There's a time where it was just like we'd do too many. We would do a show in San Diego once a month, or Anaheim, or wherever, L.A. and all that shit. So that was cool, But we also don't need to do that. It's a professional touring act now,
Yeah, you and Josh always had this like really special connection musically because you all kind of bubbled up like around the same time. Because even like we're talking about your like the vocal style. If you look at his guitar playing was also like the I was wondering if those chords like invoked something because you listen to Death Atlas like that. I mean, Travis, like, I've been listening to your band the past 3 weeks, and it's really helped me fall in love with the genre again.
Cool.
And it was like,
what genre?
That's
the
you
question.
got me.
That's the question. I was kidding.
I was like, you get these burst of moments that make you re-fall in love with heavy music again.
Yeah.
Like this was like a very fresh record, and I found myself crying.
Good. And I say good because that's
like, what the fuck is going on?
That is a real reaction. That's my favorite reaction.
Yeah,
because I've seen it.
It's like what the how did
since Anthropocene I've seen it.
How did like you guys are evoking emotions, which is extremely rare in heavy music as far as like this extreme. Like, how did you do that? I mean, we're talking like for me, it was like the self-titled track, which is 9 minutes long,
Yeah.
but you don't mind, and you just go on for like this. You're just going on like this journey.
Yeah.
It's like how did you do that?
Well, we just really we see. I love that record, man.
It sounds like you put a lot into that record.
We did.
in particular.
We did. It was very. We crafted it a little carefully. We spent a lot of time trying to craft it to be the right thing. Like, yeah. You don't just Terrasite's interesting because we actually what you hear on the record, the sequence of songs are how they were written.
Oh wow!
Yeah, in the same sequence that they were written with 2 songs switched, and so we for Terrasite at least I wanted to do like the 180 degree opposite of what we did on Death Atlas. So. And it was a little bit more like with what we did with Monolith for Terrasite, where Death Atlas was like, we knew we didn't want to repeat this. We're not going to just repeat this. People didn't want another downer record. I didn't want another downer record. I wanted it, and that's my favorite shit. I love depressing, for lack of better words, suicidal sounding, stuff. I'm really into the suicidal black metal or whatever, all that kind of shit, and funeral doom and all this kind of crap. But we couldn't do that again, so we had to do, we wanted it to be a lot more energetic on this one or whatever. Personally was hoping that Death Atlas would stand on its own, with that being said. So I don't know, man. We just had a lot to say. We were really, I'm really into, like I said, depressing kind of stuff. It's a very depressing topic. The world is destroyed and everything's gone. What do you do? So that's why Terrasite is the way it is. It's serendipitous and incredible that it came out during spring of this year, which is beautiful. That was an accident. I wanted this record to conceptually and the cover and everything to exude this springtime feeling, new life, new rebirth, all this stuff. Everybody came out of the pandemic. Can you imagine if we just doubled down and did more super depressing shit? It'd be stupid. I watched Neurosis do it back in the day when they put out Through Silver and Blood. It had all these, that was like their monolith. It had all these like parts that people liked, but it didn't just focus on those parts in the way that I think Death Atlas, people have complained that Death Atlas does. I don't see that as a deal breaker.
Complained?
Others might. I have. But that's the thing, dude. Okay. It's a sea of positivity. And then as an artist or whatever, the ones that stick out to you are always going to be the shitty comments. They're always going to be the ones that are the negative because when it's a bunch of positivity.
Sure.
And I'm thanking my lucky stars that I'm very fortunate that we've gone that things have gone this way for us. It may not again. It may go on a different trajectory next. We don't know. People's mindsets and stuff change constantly. Like I said, I don't know what people want anymore. I don't, and I don't really even see eye to eye musically with a lot of people in this kind of genre. Specifically, not that I think we're doing some amazing thing and they're not. Sure. It's not that. It's just weird. I was starting to say it earlier. I worked at a record store, and for years, many years, different record stores. Back in the day, when we didn't have Spotify and algorithms and social media directing us what to listen, effectively putting us in our own echo chambers, creating echo chambers for us that we, through algorithms funneling stuff that like-minded stuff that you've clicked on before or whatever.
Yes.
We had to, shit, look at album covers and hope it didn't suck. And anyways, I worked at a record store, and I was able to. I worked with all different types of people that listen to all different types of music. I never thought I would get so into, say, like world music, music from around the world, different, so like Indian film soundtracks, or psychedelic, Turkish psychedelic, or prog rock from Turkey, from the 60s and whatever. And there's this label called soul jazz that they're kind of like, this is like an algorithm before algorithms. Where it funnels, they put out all this awesome stuff from around the world that you never would have thought existed. And a lot of it's just really mind-blowing. And you get to learn about other cultures and stuff through this. At least that's how I looked at it. So I was exposed to so damn much. And when metal, I feel like, is already running through my veins, and I play it every damn night on a tour cyclically for over 20 years.
Sick.
It's not going to be what I come home to. I'm not that metal, unfortunately. I guess, but we've noticed something about touring bands over the years, metal touring bands. The ones that are like the rookies or just haven't been doing it long are the guys that are driving at the end of the night saying, "All right, see you later," and they're blasting death metal, leaving the parking lot.
Yes.
The people who have been on the road plenty of times, they're blasting Brian Eno or Godspeed You Black Emperor or something very, mellow and and pretty. I think we're all, as musicians and artists or whatever, I think most of them have mental or emotional illnesses or deficiencies or whatever. I think we all kind of have something going on upstairs, and I've noticed, like the most, the biggest artists or whatever have some of the most problematic pasts, whether it's mentally or like even in their relationships or whatever.
Yeah.
Look at friggin' John Lennon, shit like that. I think musicians just tend to be kind of fall on that side of things.
What do you fall?
Oh, I'm ADD. I grew up. I'm the depressed person.
Yeah. What was your upbringing like?
Totally fine. Middle to middle class. Well, I found out that my parents were way poorer than they made me think we were.
Really?
Yeah. But they were working their asses off to get to a point to make a better future for themselves and their kids.
Yeah.
And I didn't really even know until the last 10 years or so when they start telling, oh, back in, blah, 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 we were, destitute. We had like, what, $50 in the account? I was like, really? Okay. Well, you did a great job of, raising us and also making us think like, that we were fine. My dad grew up very poor and didn't want his kids to feel that way, and stuff. So... Wow. Yeah, but so I honestly, it's chemical. I have no reason. I've been given there's been nothing that's happened in this life to make me feel the way I do. And that just tells me it's chemical, and I think that's one reason why I write these lyrics and stuff. I think I'm just kind of acting out, I'm most mellow when I'm on the road, because I get to go up there and scream every night at everybody, and the next day, as long as I don't have a bunch of stuff to do, like I TM'd our portion of the Amon Amarth tour, and that just sucked because it was just like, dude, I got to do all this stuff on stage. Luckily, it was only 30 minutes or something.
It's a lot,
but yeah, it's lame. So I'm at my most like resting phase or whatever when I'm on the road the next day and stuff, because I was able to literally physically get out any kind of, demons or whatever, dude. I'm not trying to be all...
No, I think everyone has demons, even if you have a good upbringing, a bad one. It's like, I think like everyone has like a family. There's like big ones, there's little small ones. I was just thinking like today, which you actually awakened this like the first time. It's been a while because I do I eat pepperoni pizza and stuff, so I do eat meat, but not like a lot. And right when I dove into your catalog, there was It's either, I believe it's an outro to a record.
Oh, dude.
And there's
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, so there's like a slaughter of pigs going on.
This was the
And the sound was so horrifying.
Yeah.
And I literally I was in the garage where we jam. I was pacing around my room. I was like just like listening to this thing. I was like, and I haven't felt that way in a while. I'm like, damn, what Garza, like, dude, what the fuck are you eating, man?
Yeah.
It made it, which is what you want, good art to do. You want it to make you stop and like feel feelings and face your own demons and like think about shit differently. I was like,
It was like you're talking about this thing. Is it like a 10 or 12 minute outro?
It's a long outro too.
Yeah, it's just funny because it's like I'm sure that ends up on Spotify and people are like, "What in the hell is this nonsense?"
Yeah.
It's just
it's great.
pigs getting slaughtered with the sound of I believe it was this guy John Weiss did the electronic like noise and stuff, like an ambient soundtrack to it to make it a little more unnerving. And then we just kind of mixed it all around. And I've always been into like experimental kind of avant-garde noise and crap like that too.
Do you think that was maybe even like a precursor to what you would even do a couple records later, like that kind of like, which people have spoken about you and Cattle in this way, where like you do like it's obviously extreme, but there's like this emotion evoking element to it.
Well, yeah, we did on the Harvest Floor. We started with that. With this woman named Jarbo, she was who was a massive fan of. She was in a band called Swans, who is one of my favorite bands of all time. So that was an amazing feat to get her on the record. And so I created this it was supposed to sound like a dirge, like a funeral march type thing. And so we composed it. I did all synths or whatever. I'd have to go back and look at see who give credit to who actually did it, but and it was supposed to just be this long build up to the last song, and then I personally liked that model a lot, so we did it again, and then again, and then again. Monolith, Anthropocene, Death Atlas all have that. I did an interview like a couple days ago, and these guys were saying with these guys in Mexico, and they were saying, hey, I noticed there's no. They said they called it ballad.
Ballad?
Yeah, there's no ballad on this record. I'm like, actually, I realized, they're talking about the intro, this separated intro track to the last song that we've been doing on the last few records.
Yeah.
And I was just like, actually, you're right. But the last song pretty much is Just Another Body is pretty much as dirgy, and it's the same kind of way that we've been ending our records. Just it's all condensed into one song now. That's why it's 10 whatever minutes, because it has like the long, pretty piano intro or whatever connected to it kind of thing, instead of separating them. Death Atlas was one of those things where we had like all these peaks and valleys and stuff, but the valleys were really low. And, half the time we're doing those so we can use them as live. I hate talking to the crowd, man. I'm not a front man. I'm a vocalist. There's the difference.
Interesting.
If it was up to me, I would have. I just hate hearing my voice, dude. Like I'm even going back and watching this. I'm like, oh, God, I hate the sound of my voice.
That guy sucks.
I hate it. I got this high little voice. I hate it.
Yeah, because you can't even drink caffeine.
I can't.
You got your mind's just going, huh?
I do. I need to not, is what it is. I need to not, mostly coffee.
Yeah,
because like a good can of Coke or once in a while is the shit, or the bottle, bottle Coke.
Isn't it kind of? Do you ever look back, like when you were a kid hanging out with eventually people that will go and have some notoriety in like the heavy genre, and literally like over 25 years later, like the band's even bigger now. Like it's kind of you lived a crazy journey, man.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting at earlier with the whole like we never went away sort of thing. It's just like
it's insane.
It's a lot longer, I feel, to me than it might have been for other people. Like some bands, came out, popped, did a lot of touring, went away, and then came back out, and did it again or whatever. And it's like we never. I feel like they might have been afforded a, stopping and taking a breath of fresh air and then come back reinvigorated or something. But we've done it cyclically in the same way that Cannibal Corpse did, since 1990 or whatever.
It's insane. Your career is. I keep going back to it. It just makes no sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's bizarre. It's timing and just. Well, see, that's the thing is I'm not. That's not fair to the guys because they're the ones writing this music. I come in and I write the melodies, and then Otero will do some little. He might have some things to say about certain things, but lots of bands have put out awesome records and didn't get as much attention or whatever. So I feel very thankful that people, for whatever reason, we've been able to still connect with the youth. The youth is, I mean, you have to still stay in their peripheral,
Yeah.
You have to be in front. You have to, not that you should, pander to them. Don't pander to anybody. Not even really. You got to do it to your fans to some extent because you don't want to alienate them. Mm-hmm. But do what you want. You got to do what you take risks. It's important. I think it's important to take risks and just definitely do what you want. If you're not doing it for yourself or first, at least primarily, you can make it a job later. Fine. If it brings in money, great. You win. Bonus. But you got to like what you're doing. And it has to mean something to you. Or else, I don't know. Poser shit. Otherwise, I can't say. I know that's a bad word now, but
no.
It's, I don't know.
It's very fitting. It's very fitting.
You got to do what you want, and hope that. I guess if you're trying to make a career out of it or whatever, then hope that it resonates, and maybe it will. And not everybody's supposed to do this.
No. Just from the physical factor. No.
Yeah.
And then the psychological factor that comes with that,
That's the thing that's the part that people that doesn't get acknowledged enough because I think people automatically assume, shut up, dude, you're fine. You have legions of fans or whatever, sure. And you make money at this. You've been to Perth, Australia, and swam in the waters. I haven't, that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, but everything comes with a price,
Everything has a price.
Yeah.
No matter how good it is or how bad it is, everything in life has a price.
Yeah.
And there's a price to what you do, and and you just never took a break.
Yeah.
And didn't get burnt out, and still went up.
That's the thing. I still like, dude. When
I don't get it
on this tour and the last one, specifically this one, the Decibel tour we just did. At the end, I have a ritual. I basically get off stage, I go and I take a shower, and then I go and I sit there pretty much naked on the bus with a towel around me.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I always have to close the curtains.
Yeah.
And I sit there and I add stories and of people posting, and I'm sitting there watching these going, who is that person? Like, what in the hell? And how long do they have to do this shit? Talking about myself or Josh or Dave,
yeah.
We're all getting up there. Dave specifically, how? I don't, it's insane. This man, he blows my mind. The physicality involved with what he's doing. And then myself too. And I'm watching these videos going, how are we doing this? Like, I don't know either. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm not talking about like, the music or any kind of mind-blowing thing or anything like that. I'm just talking about the physicality of it. Like, I'm 48 years old. Like, how much longer? How much longer can I even do this? Luckily, I don't feel like I look like it. I get told a lot that I don't look 45 or 48 or my age or whatever. I didn't really start feeling that way until even, I guess coming back from COVID. That put a lot of things into perspective.
Yeah, a lot of perspective.
You're just like, dude, this is tough. Like, this isn't easy. Touring is so much lamer now than it used to be. Have you noticed? I mean, it used to be so much more fun or something. Now there's logistical things. Have you been to Europe since COVID?
Yeah.
I mean, that was
a little bit different.
That was troubling. At least the festival season last year.
Yeah.
Like, broke me in half, dude.
Really?
It was just brutal. Just and more so like the logistical things. Just even showing up and then 35 hours later going, "Where's our equipment?" Just that kind of shit, you know, like just the stuff nobody really thinks about. It breaks you down over time, I think.
Little things will just break you down. It's you. It's just little things and just fucking eats there, and it's will fucking manifest.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And usually it'll manifest to you wanting to quit, but it looks like you guys haven't got.
But that's the
Great.
thing. Yeah, I can't tell you how
Great.
many times I've said that's it. Or I'm done, or blah blah blah. Like I think most bands go through that shit or whatever. Terrasite has completely reinvigorated us. Last year was just
That's
tough.
great.
Last
Yeah.
year was just brutally tough. I want to forget about 2022
Yeah.
for the rest of my life. It was just stupid. But it produced a record that we're going to be able to, reap the benefits of, I guess, and go on tour and continue doing our thing.
It's great. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're talking, Death Atlas. Like you're like your seventh record in. Like you're getting now you're playing in arenas. Who would have fucking thought?
Well, the Kia Forum, you mean?
Yeah, you guys play Kia. What the fuck?
It was, I'm just going to assume that'll never happen again, just because, I'm a pessimistic asshole, but
Yeah.
also a realistic asshole. And I told my parents, I was just like, guys, if you're ever going to come out to one of our shows, you should probably do this one. Let's do this one because this.
What a highlight, man!
We're never going to be able to do anything like this again. I don't think unless
you never know, man.
I know, never say never. I know, but at the same time, it was just like we shouldn't be. I mean, we're allowed to play here. This is crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure we were the first band with blast beats to play that stage. I think. I don't know of any other tours or whatever that was all death metal at least.
Like how fast you literally you chose like the tortoise road and it's climbed up there, dude.
Yeah, well, it's
insane.
It's insane. It's I probably look like it's taking a toll on me, but we also just got off tour and I'm like fresh off COVID and had a few beers last night.
A few?
Yeah. Well, I brought home from Three Floyds back from Indiana.
Oh shit!
It's like the best. It's just the best. Yeah. So
heavy shit.
Yeah.
I love my beers heavy.
Yeah, I finally came around to the hoppy thing. I was a Pilsner guy for a while, but I like them. I want to drink less and have it mean something.
See? Oh, that's a good way. That's a dangerous good way to put it. That's what I'm starting saying from now on.
Yeah. So
same. Just have like a one or two heavy ass beers and okay, let's chill. Yeah. But people make the mistake, then they want to keep going.
Yeah, dude, because it tastes so good, and your judgment's decreased, and that alcohol now doesn't taste so biting. And stuff.
It's true. It's true.
I love it.
I was just what was also fascinating is that you recently reconnected with one of the co-founders, Dave.
Yeah, dude.
You have been plagued with Daves. Right? This is Dave.
That sounds like a song. A plague of Daves.
Yeah, it's just you're just like surrounded by Daves. I just want to tell you, congrats. Just having, after he hasn't been a band for 20 years. You guys, I assume you guys haven't talked since.
Oh well, okay, yeah. Dave and I haven't talked about this much. I think I only mentioned it in like this one interview or whatever. We stopped talking to each other in 2003. We parted ways or whatever. We let him go, and no reason to even talk about any of that at this point.
Of course.
It's just really cool. I'm not like this. I hold grudges, dude. I hold grudges. I'm a grudge holder. I'm a petty bastard sometimes when it comes to that. If I feel like I've been given a reason. And over time, I just felt like that this one didn't really need to be like this. But what happened was I'm at, Gabe's, other co-founder of the band, Gabe Serbian, played drums for The Locust for many years. And he passed away the day before we were leaving to go to the studio. And so to record Terrasite. We get there, week and a half later, Trevor passes, and I was in a real bad spot mentally and emotionally. my head was just swimming, lots of pressure, for the record and this and that, and then loss, and having to process that. And it was a few weeks later, Gabe's memorial happened at the Casbah in San Diego. I wasn't going to miss it, so I left the studio. I flew home, and went to the Casbah, and I'm standing there. I was a wreck. I was an emotional wreck, dude. And I'm standing there. I walk to the bathroom, and I hear this, "Hey, Travis," and I look over, and it's Dave Astor. I haven't seen this guy since 2003-ish.
Oh my goodness.
And we hated each other this whole time. I talked a lot of shit about this guy. He reciprocated. He did the same. I held a grudge severely. And there was something, death of a friend will put things in perspective, I guess. So I'm walking and I hear this, "Hey, Travis." He's like, "What's up, man?" And I just hugged him. And it was weird, when I say weird, what I mean is it's weird for me. It wasn't a weird thing. This is how people recover and get through loss and stuff and process it. And that, meant a lot to me. He said some things that night that meant a lot to me. And so I just, everything was cool from then on out. And it's weird to talk to him now. Like, it was like, we spent the rest of the night together, hanging out. We went to a party afterwards.
Wow.
And it was just like, I'm transported back to 1998.
Whoa.
I'm just, it's him and I again, talking about the same shit. He's the same dude. And I'm very sentimental like that. So it meant a lot to me. That's a lot of things he said, and I was happy to squash the beef. There's people that I will go to the grave, keeping the grudge against because they were that shitty. But this just wasn't one of those situations. I felt, it just wasn't. And I'm happy that it wasn't. Just, I spent weeks going, did I do the right thing? Was that right? Did he do the right thing? Did Dave do the right thing by saying hi? And I'm just glad he did. I'm glad he did. It helped. I mean, it's just part of learning about yourself. 48 years in, I'm still learning about myself,
It kind of sucks that someone has to die to bring people together. It sucks when that shit happens, but then there's this beautiful thing comes after that. It's so bizarre.
Well, and I realized I had wanted this to happen for a while.
Really?
That's kind of part of the processing of it. So I realized that I had actually wanted to squash this and didn't really realize it. But I can say, there's definitely people that are like, nope.
Yeah, there is that.
Some people are deserving of your hate. Absolutely, there are people. But that's between you and them, and I remember people being like, "Oh, come on, squash it." No, dude, shut up. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Not this one.
No. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, I've had to send him money over the years and stuff like that. It's like now I can just be like, "Hey, Dave, what's your email?" What's your PayPal, instead of like having someone else do it and having this degree of separation.
Is there there's a part of you where like I don't give a fuck about anything or what anyone says about me, but for some reason when it's someone that you had that kind of history with, when they say something nice to you, it just hits you.
Yeah.
We past band members with Suey, like when they say something very nice, you're like, thanks, man.
Yeah.
It just means something.
Yeah.
Because then you just go back to that time period when you're like a kid, like you're like one of your like childhood friends, sees you grown up and has something, positive to say about you. It just means a lot.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I've experienced that. Yeah. When didn't really expect it. And then it's nice to hear, but I don't know.
Well,
life's weird.
Life is.
Relationships are weird. People are weird. I feel like I'm weird,
Yeah.
Just.
But Travis, you are the best version of weird I ever seen.
Thanks, babe.
You're awesome, man.
I appreciate it.
I mean, again, like just thank you for, kind of invigorating my, love for heavy music. It's, I'm in a weird spot in my life and my band's career as well. So doing, just listening to you guys has meant like a lot. Just driving up here and, crying. Now I was like, damn, I cannot wait to hang out with Travis.
Dude, that is like, seriously, that's the best. The thing about that is you can't fake it.
You can't.
If you're faking crying to someone's music,
then you're a poser.
You got some problems. Or, you might want to, reevaluate. Or, shit, I would turn it off and go, let's get to the bottom of why you're crying, why you're faking like you're crying here.
Yeah.
But I've seen people do it, starting with the Anthropocene songs, mostly in Europe. That's where I first noticed it, playing this festival, and I'm seeing these two people up front crying and turning to each other and really crying. I'm like, holy shit, that is the sickest. And I know they're doing it because it's on this emotional part of the song. It's not like, it was evoked by us playing something. Maybe they're like, oh, we're finally seeing this band. Or mom really liked this band and she's gone, so we're getting to see it for them. Everybody's got their reason.
Sure.
But when it's because of what you're playing, it's amazing. It's just the best. It's my favorite feeling, dude. It's my favorite thing to see. And I know that might sound kind of sociopathic. No. But the reason why I enjoy it is because that's you can't fake that. That's a genuine response. That's a completely genuine response to something, and it's beautiful. There's something beautiful in that. Death metal and the words beautiful were never supposed to be together, and that's kind of like I think that's a cool thing. I mean, for me, that's what I'm happy about being able to. When I first saw it, I was just like, I only want this now. I only want people to cry and blah blah blah. I honestly, that was us. Death Atlas was us paying attention to the response from the crowd, and like we did it did lend itself to lead to why there was so much emotional stuff in that record. Having gotten so, being so like stoked with how that stuff went, there's still little moments of it in Terrasite, but it's a little more fewer far between and not so heavy-handed on that, on the emotional side of things. It's not just total like head in the dirt, They find their place into it, like you were saying earlier, how it's like mixing melody and stuff with something that's raw and visceral sounding or whatever, intense or whatever sounding. Those are two flavors that go great together, but you don't really know until you try or whatever. And I don't know. I'm really stoked on that kind of stuff resonates with people, and they're not just going, oh God, there he is again doing this stupid weird Gollum voice or whatever, and blah blah blah. And,
complete opposite.
I hope so. I mean, complete
opposite, man. It's fascinating to me how you even found that voice.
Well, it's just
I haven't heard anything like it.
It was just wanting to do something different for myself or whatever, and it actually helped. I noticed like our presence in Germany, or fan presence in Germany, kind of ramped up. I think they just like they like their. See, that's the thing I've noticed with Germany is they want their grindcore to be grindcore, their death metal to be death metal. They don't really want the death grind. or whatever, they want their tech death to be tech death and not too much crossing the streams. But so I don't know. I don't even know why I was mentioning that, but I noticed that they're a good gauge for if you're doing something right within maybe the metal sphere, because they just get so much. It's ingrained in a lot of their lifestyle over there. It's not over here. It's a little more flavor of the month. Where, there's not too many people in their 70s going to metal shows, but go to Wacken. You'll see plenty of them there. These are lifers. Like, so I think that was kind of cool. And it was like, oh well, shit. Finally people in Germany are starting to give a shit, and I think maybe it had a lot to do with writing. They were writing catchier riffs, and I was following up with catchy sounding choruses, or we call them choruses. I don't even know. Melodic parts. And I'm glad that it resonated with them, because I thought it was an experiment. I mean, at least in my mind, it was. Maybe the rest of the guys had a different opinion, but to me, it was very much an experiment. And talking about Monolith, and
Connected.
We'll see what happens, and it worked.
Can't fake that.
Gave us a second career, and I liked the sound of it. I liked what we were doing, or at least I was having fun doing it.
Sounds like it.
It's not so fun live when
got to do 20 voices.
You can't hear yourself, and you're doing the rest of the stupid voices.
Yeah.
God.
Oh my goodness.
Dumb corner I painted myself into.
So a new record came out in May. People are loving it. You know, people are loving your record when you go on Spotify and it's all like a new record.
Yeah.
Can't fake that either.
See, I'm so lost when it comes to the Spotify thing, dude, or like streaming numbers.
It's an endless. Stay out of it, dude. It's not worth it.
Sucks.
It'll drive you insane.
As long as Steve Davis or somebody's paying attention to it, that's all I care about. Let them do it.
Well, I'll tell you that people are jamming it, so it's great, man. It's really cool to see, for me watching you as a kid, and then even later on in your second one in your career, like people are still jamming those records. That's inspiring for.
It's weird.
For me, it's weird, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I mean, it's weird to have this backwards trajectory or whatever of how things usually go.
Even backwards career. It's
career.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Man.
But that's how it should be. Or I mean, it makes sense. We're a backwards band. I mean, we tuned at standard. We tuned at E flat or whatever, standard tuning. Bands just haven't been.
So
they just weren't doing that. Like
that's sick.
Everybody started doing drop A or whatever, drop Z, which I loved. I always loved that sound, but we always stayed with E flat, which is interesting. Most bands don't really do that. Yeah, and
that's cool.
Talking about we've got albums that are concerned with animal welfare, and it's very what people would consider non-death metal type things, and we just kind of stayed in that lane and did our thing, and now I mean, if we came out now with that stuff, it'd probably be received a lot better. Who knows? Just people with more open minds or whatever now about things. It's the main reason why I'm probably one of the main reasons why I'm willing to be open now about mental health,
Yeah.
and my struggles with it or whatever. It's okay to do now. It's like,
okay.
because everybody's dealing with it, dude. Like, it seems to some degree.
It's just hard being a human in general, man. It's hard being a human. We're all trying to be our own human. It's weird. It's a tough mental, emotional, spiritual journey, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. Well, Travis, I just want to thank you for making the drive here. I've been wanting to sit down with you for quite some time.
Same here, man. I had
over a year.
I had a lot of people. Like I told you, I saw the Glenn Benton one, and I just thought it was. I don't know. I liked it. I liked that episode. I thought it was great. It was the first one I saw, and then I saw like another one. Both times you were wearing a Dystopia shirt, so I wore my Dystopia shirt.
Oh,
today.
I know what it was. That's sick. Oh my goodness. That's sick as fuck.
So I thought that was funny. And I was, and then I had noticed. So like I said, half the time we were talking about it, obviously it's the cat's out of the bag. I'm not paying attention to my peers.
Yeah.
And a lot of people when I was mentioning it on Twitch or whatever, like I started seeing people go like, "Dude, will you please do Chris Garza's podcast?" And I was like, "Whoa. Weird. I just saw an episode the other day, and you said, it's legit. You've got multiple cameras and everything looks. I don't know what this is about though. Can you please explain this?"
Real quick,
Is this episode coming out in December? Is it?
No, this is going to drop next month. So the reason why this tree is here is because we play Florida, and the gentle giant George Corpsegrinder Fisher comes out to a show, and he decorated our bandwagon with Christmas lights.
This was in Christmas during Christmas
Yeah,
time.
during Christmas.
Oh, that's cute.
And he get this tree. So once we came home, I took the tree and I put it here.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
The band hates it. People give. Well, I'm pretty sure they talk shit.
Of course.
People give us stuff or whatever, and it's like, cool. I put it up in this little thing, and then get home, and I just
take it.
Yeah. I'm a hoarder. I have a hoarding in my blood. So.
No, man, you gifts are rare, man. So if you can hold on to your gift, man, it's cool.
Yeah, and then we have some interesting ones once in a while. So
I can imagine being in your fucking band, dude.
When it's very topical, when there's topical stuff, you get all sorts of weird shit.
Oh my goodness, dude. Well, Travis, again, thank you for making the drive. I am honored to hang out with you.
We got to do it again.
Please,
we got to do it again. It's so close. I mean, I'm right there.
It's not bad, huh?
It's not that far. No.
And I just want to publicly say, thank you for everything that you've done for heavy music. I mean, you pioneered this style of vocal that is very common in today's extreme scene, and none of this would exist without you.
Oh, bud.
So it's
I really
cool.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's hard to accept praise like that sometimes
it's cool.
for me, but
it's real, man. It's happening.
I appreciate it.
And you also inspire me to just remain a tortoise.
Yeah.
It's real shit, dude.
It works, dude. The tortoise always beats the hare, bro.
That's what's up.
It's just what happens,
Travis, where people find you?
Well, shit.
Because I know you can barely work your phone.
I'm not that boomer or boomy. Shit, I'm on Twitch.
Oh, yeah, you're on
Travis Ryan Cattle Decap.
Boom.
Twitch.tv/Travis Ryan Cattle Decap. I run the band socials and stuff, and that's the only reason.
Oh, sick.
It's the only reason why I have a social
Okay.
presence is because I have to run the band ones. So, you can get a hold of me there begrudgingly. I just, I really wish I could just opt out. I need to find a social media manager or something. I just want to opt out of it completely.
You should. That's something that you want to do. Why not?
For your mental health. I mean, that's the best reason right there. Like, it's, we're all human, dude. So
you got to take a step back for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Travis. Again, thank you, and
thank you, dude.
Until next time,
for sure.
All right, everyone. That's it. Later, Travis Swine.